Hello, and thanks for joining us for another Five Things podcast here with a special guest. I want to make the introduction here, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't mess it up. Drew Dober, husband, father to a beautiful baby girl, and model, UFC fighter with a pro record, started in 2009, 27-15. And your next fight coming up is Kyle Prepelic. Am I saying that right?
I believe so. I couldn't correct you.
Maybe. Sunday, October 18th in Vancouver, which I may be there as well. So Drew Dober is must-see TV, and thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then that sounded super impressive. I hope I live up to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vancouver is beautiful, and yeah, I can't wait to enjoy confrontation there.
Probably knock someone out if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of Kyle shows up, but I'll take what's given.
Yep.
I'm always fishing for knockouts.
And a lot of people may think I'm here to give Drew tips on working out and creating a six-pack ab, but that's actually not the case. We're here to talk, honestly, just a little MMA stuff, a little UFC, because we need to know a little bit, but I'm actually more interested in some of the other stuff too, like success principles, your background story. Obviously, we're going to talk cigars and wine a little bit. So let me ask you this. Have you ever seen those videos of people asking fighters to punch them or kick them or, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like
Right.
they're scattered all over social media.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, we're not doing that today.
oh man,
So,
I was getting warmed up for
yeah,
no reason.
I have
Then.
no interest in that. So let's start with little Andrew, growing up in Nebraska. What were you like as a kid?
Rambunctious, high energy. I was kind of like that typical boy of just jumping out of trees, rolling in dirt, doing outrageous things. My mother gave me the nickname growing up as Tank because I would just always go into things head first, figuratively and literally.
Okay.
And that's how I created this chin and fat head of mine. But and then I had a love for martial arts or fighting. I don't know. When I was playing with action figures, it was always a tournament and people were always trying to win a fight and confrontation with each other. I loved Power Rangers. And then, I fell in love with like Japanese anime, Dragon Ball Z, which was just more fighting. And I got to a point where I think I was like 12 years old and I was like, I should try to do this martial art thing, give it a shot. So I joined martial arts and fell in love and never stopped. And I feel like most people join Taekwondo and then they just eventually find something else. I just did Taekwondo and never quit, and here I am.
Okay, awesome. And I know from listening to some of your content on the way here, driving from Vegas to Denver, and you have been to like a Comic-Con or two. You love superhero stuff growing up.
Yep.
Is that
part
of the childhood?
I was an absolute nerd growing up. I mean, not even the productive nerd. It wasn't the nerd getting good grades. I was the nerd that was like reading comic books during class and reading books during class. And man, I just had a love of like fantasy. Like I'm a dreamer, and I dreamed of like this career. And I just wanted to be a superhero and to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And the UFC was the closest thing you can get.
Which is pretty awesome. And growing up in Nebraska, I mean, there's this, I guess it just feels like a barrage of people. Obviously, Crawford just coming off his big victory, still undefeated out of Nebraska, which, by the way, I lost money on that. I'll give him credit. I'm a casual boxing fan. Like the last boxing match I think I watched was like Lennox Lewis. So I just heard, Canelo outsized him by like 3 weight classes. And I'm like, well, that's kind of important. But, I mean, fight IQ from Crawford was off the charts in my mind.
I mean, it was brilliant. And then, coming from Nebraska, I mean, this is
that's your guy.
Crawford's
obviously.
my guy. But I've had the privilege of not only sparring him, but also training with him. I mean, my mother used to live like a block away from his gym. So I would go in and out. And so I saw him, and how talented he was. And he was doing some things that like I didn't see a lot of people doing. I mean, when we sparred, he showed me that I never boxed a day in my life. Like he was incredible. Worst day of my life.
He could barely get hit.
I mean,
which is crazy.
I was getting hit too much, right? But in the fight with Canelo, he just showed everything that, I saw him doing in the gym. So it never surprised me. But Omaha, Nebraska has just been producing fighter after fighter after fighter. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like UFC 3 tournament winner was a Omaha cop named Steve Jenham.
Oh man, you're going back.
I mean,
don't even
I'm
remember
dusting that
guy.
off. But I'm saying I think he initiated it, and then Jeremy Horn, who fought Chuck
Jeremy
Liddell,
Horn, yeah.
he's from Omaha, Nebraska, and it's like there's something in the water.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Yeah, so I think in Nebraska you either play football or you fight, and I can't run, jump, or catch a ball. So
Yeah,
this is
right.
where
So
I'm at.
you started swinging. Let me ask you this MMA question: how much? I know some UFC fighters obviously starting this business now and getting around a lot of people, and it's kind of surprising me that a handful of fighters that they really don't watch a lot of UFC, and it's incredibly surprising to me because I feel like coming back to the Crawford comment with the fight IQ, like I can't tell you how often I watch, and again, I'm the casual guy, drinking wine, sitting on the couch, yelling for the guy to push, right? I know that. I've never fought in the UFC, and I acknowledge that. But there are so many times where I'm watching, and I think I've listened to so much Dominic Cruz and DC and all Joe Rogan to where I'm watching a fight and like it's a super even round and like a 15-second flurry at the end of a good connections or this and that would probably win the round. And it just seems to me like Crawford had the IQ. He would come out and I'm in the first, 30 seconds of the round, he'd come out, he's hitting, and he gets that momentum, and then he got super defensive. Mm-hmm. And then you would see he would flurry when he felt like he needed to get the round back. And it just seemed like he was so intelligent about it. My question is, how much UFC do you actually watch? And I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, no, I watch a ton.
Okay.
I watch a ton. And I feel like most fighters don't really need to watch the UFC because, they're all about the logistics and like the training. Like if you do this, he does this, and I go for that. And it's like, very cut and dry, kind of like a MMA math problem,
Okay.
Where for me, I fell in love with martial arts and like the whole entertainment aspect of it, And so it's like one side of me is like I'm the active athlete that has to do things the way I'm told and the way it should be done. But I'm also the huge fan of the UFC to where it's like, that's probably why people love the way I fight because I'm fighting in the way that people want to watch because that's what I enjoy.
Right.
And I had to remind my coaches because they're like, you need to, stop thinking about the audience and trying to entertain the audience. I'm like, no, I'm trying to entertain myself. Like I'm fighting the way that I want to watch myself fight. And I'm glad people appreciate it. And I think it's very true to me because I'm first and foremost a fan. I was watching UFC or the early days, the Ultimate Fighter season one, Pride. I was watching Strike Force and WEC. Wow, okay. And I was a huge fan, and I'm still a huge fan. Sometimes I don't want to be an athlete when I'm at these UFC events because I'm just trying to enjoy it like everyone else.
Right. And it's interesting. Obviously, fighters are getting coached up and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. It just seems like at the end of a round, there should be like a word. And I've talked to O'Day about this. Like there should be a code word. Like if I'm yelling, I don't know, call it outlet, electrical outlet. Like if I'm yelling outlet, that means it's a close round. You got a flurry at the end to win this round. Like some kind of code word to just give the fighter just something that extra. Like I need to gas this thing to pull that round my way, So I don't know. There probably is, and I'm probably just talking out of my ass right now.
I think some coaches have like weird secret words. You hear outrageous stuff from corners. Like, what is that supposed to mean? But in response to that idea is like, it's something you would have to train though. Like back when I used to compete in Muay Thai, where like I think in like boxing where the rounds get really, really close and you have to get that last 20 seconds, like you have to train it. So we would set like a timer in each round, like 30 seconds before the round's over, you'll hear a different chime. And that chime meant you got to push it this last 30 seconds. Like if that round was close, you got to like do something differently the last 30 seconds.
Control, taking down something.
Yeah, but you got to train it so that way, I feel like people watching the UFC is like, well, why don't they do that? Or why don't they try that? It's like, you do what you train. We're pretty much computers, and then we program our minds for 8 weeks. And then when we're in the octagon, like you do the thing you train. Yeah. And so that's an aspect that I like bringing up when it's like a last minute replacement where like this guy was training for this particular person for 8 weeks. And then on a week notice or a day notice, he has a new opponent.
Right.
Well, he's already programmed his mind to fight the previous opponent, So like it's very hard to do. And it's very impressive when fighters are able to do it. Like when the coach yells 20 seconds left, make a difference, and they're able to do that. One, it's trained, or two, it's just something within them that like they're able to grasp on that. But yeah, it's definitely something that's useful, but you got to train it.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, and again, I'm speaking from as a fan and sports better, to where you got money on the guy and it's like nobody did anything last 20 seconds and it was super close and it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So obviously, when you got money on it, and I know sports gamblers are probably some of the most annoying people UFC fighters can hear from. But
that reminds me of the fight. Yeah. Remember, Kelvin Gastelum fought Israel Adesanya.
Yeah,
and and it was a great fight, but there was that one round where Kelvin like clocks him, and then Israel's like wobbling, and then he shoots for a takedown. And everyone's like, "What are you doing?" But I was like, that might be what he trained, and it's like it's so hard to get away from that. And so I've made many mistakes in my fight because that's what I was training, and that's what we were doing in the locker room. And like you can't change it last second, even though you wanted to. And I'm sure people that bet want them to as well.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's easy for me sitting on the couch in my living room to have an opinion on these high level athletes. So it's just curious. I'm always curious to get your feedback because just kind of gauging how I'm thinking about things versus the way the pros think about it. And one of the things that I like to talk about personally are mistakes that I've made, things that I've done, like things that you look back and like, man, what was I thinking? Like that was such a bad decision. And not that this was a bad decision or anything, but one of my favorite sayings from John Maxwell is we win or we learn. Mm-hmm. And, your first pro loss was a learning experience, obviously, against Hackett. And you made I heard you make a comment about he had such a good game plan for your style. Mm-hmm. And so showed really good IQ from their camp and the game plan. And what'd you take away from your first loss?
So I think the overall theme, this is what I absolutely love, is to me, fighting is just a constant search of self-improvement, right? And it's like, overall, we're all fighting for something, right? But for me, it's like very specific, these guys around the world get to show me something that I'm not good at or I didn't do properly. And it's like, I get to go back to the drawing board and go, all right, what do we got to fix? How are we going to improve? And so with Chase Hackett being my first loss, I remember the quote. I said, I just fought him like a talented amateur and he fought me like a professional. As in, I'm just going to this cage or this ring with just my natural gifts and we'll see how it plays, right? A lot of improv, where he came in with a game plan specifically created for me and it worked out. And like, I felt stuck in that ring. I was like, I can't figure out, what to do to get this guy off me or whatever, Right. And it was a fantastic fight. I nearly finished him in the third round and kind of just showed my human will. But after that fight, definitely, created that thought of like, all right, with natural gift, you also have to work at specific guidance and strategy and, is it the art of war? I mean, you gotta know what you're doing while you're in there. You can't just improv everything. And so that was the one thing I took from that fight. And every loss has like something like that. Like, what are we taking from that? Sure. How are we getting better? And I don't know, we as fighters, we sit on our losses a lot more than we do our wins.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, it's the same. I think when you're competitive, you're going to feel that no matter what you're doing, even being in sales, I couldn't stand losing when I had a security company, couldn't stand losing to competition. And it didn't happen often. But when it did, man, I'm going through everything I said, everything I did, like, and I would imagine it's the same thing as a fighter because you're obviously some of the most competitive people possible,
Right. And I think in fighting, we've learned that like we feel appreciative of these obstacles or of these problems. Like when I get a loss and then we go back and like, all right, what do I need to do to fix it and do better with you? Like you lose a sale or, all that stuff. And like, all right, what did I do incorrectly or what can I do better? So next time it's like, that's just a constant evolution of like, fighting, just searching for improvement.
Yeah. And one of the things that I didn't realize until I started doing a little research on you, but you had 20 fights in 24 months as an amateur. And I can relate to that a little bit because I've had 396 pieces of cheesecake in the last 12 months. So,
I mean, that sounds actually a little bit more impressive. I mean, stepping in an octagon is one thing, but
all right, I'm lying. I'm trying to impress you, but what do you think looking back? Like, how do you feel about that process, that many fights in that short a time? Because obviously you love what you're doing. You're trying to learn. You're trying to compete. And we're all where we're at. I know what you're going to, you think the same way I do. Like anything I've done in my life, good or bad, I'm right where I'm supposed to be, you know? So I learned from it if it was bad. But if let's say we're talking to an up and coming amateur, what would be your advice if they were going to take that same trajectory? Do you feel good about that? Would you want them to fight less often? What would you say? Less sparring during training if you're going to fight that much? What would your feedback be?
I mean, I would agree that you should fight. I mean, if this is the thing you want to do, you need to do it. I mean, it's a craft. And when you're talking to a plumber, you know, the plumber that's only doing a work once a quarter or the plumber that's doing it every single day, you want that guy.
Right.
I want the fighter that's doing it every day, you know, fighting as often as you can. And I mean, and you're chasing the success, right? You're not waiting for it. Like that's what I absolutely love. And I respect those guys. You know, we talked about Canelo. He's one of those boxers that he would just chase success. He was taking fights that he probably shouldn't have, and he has losses that he probably shouldn't have, you know, based upon that. And Alex Pereira is saying in interviews that, you know, he probably would have tried to fight less, but like, no, that's not why we respect these athletes. We respect them because they are doing it, you know, and you present them an opportunity and they take it regardless on how confident they feel about it. And then you get these other fighters that kind of pick and choose and kind of create that path. But as far as legacy goes, I mean, they're creating that persona of like, now they're taking easy fights or they're being picky or, you know, it's like they're not fighting the best in the world. And, you know, and so for talking to a younger fighter, you want to encourage them to do the things that will build that attribute of just like, you know, taking advantage of opportunities versus, you know, being the patient. And so I'm always for, you know, fight as often as you can or anything you do, whether it's sales, you know, being a stay-at-home wife or whatever, just do the thing that you absolutely love, regardless of like failure, regardless of mistake. I mean, that's, you know, pursuit of greatness, disregarding failure.
Yeah. Well, it comes back to a couple of things here, like Tony Sims, I want to talk about, who essentially had the attention of the UFC, from what I understand, and you kind of felt like you were maybe being overlooked, even though you're out here, you're doing the deal, you're winning, you're exciting fights, and then there's this opportunity to fight this really tough guy, and there was some talk about maybe we shouldn't take this fight or this and that, and you're like, no, I want that fight. UFC's eyes are on him. I'm going to take those eyes.
Can I say, man, like your research is very impressive. I mean, the fact that you know these things, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Right. You're right on. One, Tony Sims was probably the hardest fight I've ever had. Like, and people always ask me that question.
Brutal first round.
Dude, brutal first round. He's the hardest I've ever been hit. And it was before the UFC. Hardest I've ever been hit. But yeah, to expand on, but the fight before, I fought a UFC vet, TJ O'Brien. And he was, I mean, UFC, he already fought in the UFC. He got cut. And so, like, this is my opportunity to kind of show the UFC that I'm ready. And he was known for his grappling. And we fought, and I ended up submitting him. And I was like, that's it. You know, Dana White, here I am.
Yeah.
And
I
heard nothing.
Yeah.
I heard nothing. And so then there was talk about this knockout artist in Colorado, you know, laying people out. I think at the time he was like 7-0 with 7 first round knockouts. The guy was incredible.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, the UFC's looking. I got to fight him because if I can't beat him, I don't deserve to be in the UFC. So let's just find out, right?
And that's that killer instinct coming back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, just do what the thing you love,
right?
You know, and like, yeah, you're afraid. Obviously, had a high chance of losing, but it's just one of those things where if I can't do it now, like, I'm not going to do it, you know, in the future. So, like, let's just figure it out now. Let's just, you know, figure it out.
Yeah.
And turns out that he does hit hard, but I have a great chin.
Right.
So I got knocked down 3 times in the first round. It was awful. Not my best showing. But, man.
It showed how tough you were, though.
Yeah. But the coolest moment, and, like, I'll remember this to the day I die, probably tell my grandchildren about it. The first round's over. I go to my stool, and then, like, you know, obviously, and we lost that round.
Sure.
My coach looks at me, looks at him, and goes, "Look at him. He's never been out of the first round. What do you think he's thinking right now?" And I was like, "I've been through this.
Yeah.
I've been through wars. I've been through losses. Like, I have experienced this, but he hasn't. So now I get to show him." And so I just came out of that second round just like empowered.
Right.
And I just put it on him, and it was still a very close fight.
Sure.
I won by split decision.
Okay.
But it was just kind of like that dog came out and was like,
Yeah.
this is what I'm capable of. And you don't know what you're capable of until you experience it.
Right.
So that's why I always encourage everyone just to go after it.
Push
and
the
just
limits.
the failures just teach you what you're capable of.
Yeah, that's awesome. I heard Corey Sandhagen give you an amazing compliment. He said you were the most eager to learn athlete that he had come across.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I just thought that was a hell of a compliment. Where do you think that desire to grow comes from? Because clearly you have that in several different areas of your life. You just seem like you have a natural hunger to learn and improve. Generally speaking, and MMA is the most obvious because you're living it, so it's easy to see it.
Yeah, I think, having a passion for it really helps, right? But I also think just being like the 5'8" white boy from Nebraska, like, there's not like that Kanye West confidence of like,
Yeah.
this is what, like, my confidence comes from, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to ask why. Like, why are we doing this? How are we doing this? Is that the way to do it? And it's like, I need to know in detail what we're trying to accomplish and how we're trying to accomplish it. Because like, I don't know, I don't feel like I am like the natural fighter. Like I'm anti-confrontational as a nerd, right? But I wanted to be a badass.
Right.
And how do I be a badass? And why are we doing that? And like, so I think that was my encouragement to learn. And then when you start learning and then you see the evidence of success, you're like, oh, I'm doing so much better because I'm learning it. So like, what else can I learn? And so passion helps. It's the ignition for the learning. And then just seeing the evidence of like, the more you ask the question why, the more you understand, and it gets so much easier after that.
I mean, that's awesome. And again, I've heard you say fighting is the constant search to improve yourself. And you were sitting there basically after that fight, pigging out basically, which was also your birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, after the Tony Sims?
Yeah.
Oh, I went full Patty Pimblett.
So you were pigging out.
Oh,
and,
man.
And then, of course, you get the call, right?
Yeah. I mean, actually, it's great because so one of my best friends was he was like a chef at one of the local diners. And so I just won this fantastic fight. And it was my birthday. We're celebrating. We had ice cream every night. Like, we're enjoying ourselves. Right. So I'm sitting in this diner, and he made me a pancake deep fried country fried steak. I don't know how to pronounce that. Country fried steak in which he dipped in pancake batter and then deep fried it in addition to, and put it in front of me. And then I got a call from my manager. Can you fight in the UFC in 2 weeks?
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to push that gluttony project away from me. And
you literally had it on the way out. Like, I can't eat it now.
Oh, man.
Right.
Well, 2 weeks. Well, luckily it was at 170.
Okay.
So I still had to cut weight to get to the welterweight. But it's just probably not the best opportunity to take for me.
Right.
I mean, I was out of shape, eating like a turd, and then, trying to fight this guy that was prepared up a weight class. And so the showing wasn't my best performance, but once again, a great opportunity to show my heart, my chin, and my eagerness.
Yeah. And I would think the UFC understands that you're coming into a fight very disadvantaged and give you other opportunities to fight where you have a solid foundation. I would think.
Yeah.
Is that always the case?
I mean, I think just that behavior is what people want to see. I mean, we all want to see the Rocky stories.
Sure.
Rocky didn't win his first, fight against Paulo Creed. It's like, we don't really care about the outcomes of fights. We care about what happens in that 15 minutes or 25 minutes or whatever. So I just make the objective as like, yes, of course I want to win. But that's just me, right? Like, I want to win. But people just want to watch me fight because I don't take a step backwards. I'll throw even though it's not probably the best punch to throw in that moment, or, I'm not afraid to get hit. And I think this is kind of where my career has turned into. It's just, I'm the modern day Rocky. Like, people love watching. And that fight, my first fight in the UFC, and the reason the UFC appreciated me was because, I was out of shape, kind of fat, but I refused to take a step backwards.
You took the fight.
Yeah, and we fought to a decision, and I had a broken orbital bone.
Jeez.
Right? And so, the recovery wasn't the greatest, but I mean, I think everyone, including the UFC, it just enjoys that commitment of we're entertaining regardless of how I feel.
Which is true. I mean, it's obviously the Contender Series really spotlights that at a high level. Like, Dana wants to see exciting fights, especially there, but maybe in the UFC it's a little bit more, you're managing a career, It's not just an exciting fight. It's like, I've got a career to manage and a legacy to and one of my last questions I had for you about MMA stuff was, I did hear a comment about, as far as a fighter taking short notice, too many disadvantaged situations where you're kind of stacking, the cards are stacked against you, but you take the fight anyway. It's like on one hand, like you're a dog, you get all this respect on your name. On the other hand, maybe you're taking a bunch of losses that you necessarily shouldn't be putting yourself at risk for that. What advice would you give to let's say an Elijah Smith, who I'm meeting with tomorrow? He's 3-0 in the UFC, like doing great. He's going to have these situations where he gets last minute calls, but he's also managing his career. What advice would you give to someone that's balancing that? I want to be a dog anywhere, anytime, but I'm also trying to balance my career and have a great productive run to a championship.
I think the answer to that question is how you're preparing in the off season. Right? So like you don't have to take a short notice fight if you've already been preparing. If you decide that this is your career, then treat it like a career. I mean, it's a 9 to 7 or a 9 to 5 every single day, 365 days a year. You're never should be caught off guard. You should be caught like I'm not going to be as prepared as I would have been, but I'm still ready for this fight. Okay. So like that's going to be my answer to, I mean, I wouldn't say be picky with fights. I would say prepare yourself for the short notice fights, because that's what
They're
happens.
going to come.
It's going to happen. That's how you get in the Contender Series. That's how I got in the UFC. Sure. That's how you get title shots. I mean, Sean Strickland was able to get a title shot because he was the one ready, right? And so, keep your medicals up to date, be prepared, and then that's your job. Now, as far as being picky with fights, man, this career is short-lived. You're going to be an old man telling your grandchildren, annoying your grandchildren with these stories. And what stories do you want to tell? I waited for the opportunity to fight Connor, but it never happened, or kind of did, Or I took 6 fights in 6 months. I didn't win all of them, but man, it was fantastic. Those are the stories I want to tell,
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, consistency.
Yeah.
You're a pro. Don't get too far gone is what you're saying, to where you can't take that short notice.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Great question, or a great answer. I love that. So spinning around to a slightly different topic, your first TKO was Frank Carabello, and now there's a Mario Carabello that's making your Nicaraguan cigar, which is kind of a full circle thing. We were kind of laughing about that. I think it's super cool. But the question I had was, I read somewhere that your handsome looks and 6-pack abs come from smoking great cigars. Is that true?
Absolutely. I mean, specific cigars in particular, and
Gotta be great.
We're currently creating one that will or might, or, we'll have to find out. But
so,
yeah.
We're not making any representation that smoking a Dober will give you that. However,
we can highly suggest it, and
doesn't hurt to try. When did you start first enjoying cigars?
Probably in mid 20s.
Okay.
It's kind of like with success comes boredom, and you want to fill the boredom with certain activities. And I kind of just gravitated. I've always been like a dark chocolate, espresso. Like I love profound flavors, I love the smell of welding jackets, it's like that leather oil, just masculine smells, or you would assume. So like the smell of cigars always intrigued me. And so I think at my late 20s, I went I don't need to be a straight edge anymore. I made it to the UFC. Right. I need to relax and live a little. So let me try some. And then, just like martial arts, I was kind of yep, this is it. It touched my soul.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's such a natural for a UFC fighter. I mean, the baddest people on the planet of all time were smoking cigars. I mean, the Michael Jordans, the Ulysses S. Grant, Winston Churchill, Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, and there's that awesome photo with him sitting with the Lombardi trophy smoking a cigar. You find out you're having a kid. Cigars for everybody. It's just, to me, it's something that I think about it like this is, not everybody's going to have the opportunity to drive a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or get on a Learjet or do these high-level things, but you can grab a great cigar and enjoy the same feeling that a Michael Jordan or all these Frank Sinatra, all these G's throughout history smoking that badass cigar. And for me, it's perfect as a UFC fighter. You knock the shit out of somebody, you knock them out, and you and your boys just smoking some cigars. it just seems like a natural fit to me.
Yeah. And I feel like the cigar is like, global equalizer. Is like you can be, the special 1%, a champion, or just a guy just enjoying his life, but we're all just sitting down smoking cigars. Like you catch everyone in a lounge from top, bottom, left, right, black, white, it doesn't matter, right? The cigar is the global equalizer. And it's like you get to live up here or they get to be humble and like live down here, or either way, we all get to enjoy each other's company. And that's what I love cigars. It creates that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're trying the Dober for the first time when this comes out, don't inhale. We'll create some fun videos for how-to videos.
I mean, I feel like that's just, the mistake you have to make to enter this club. You're going to have to inhale once or twice and get sick from it, but that's just how you enter.
You'll remember.
Every time.
Yeah. So I know you're a big wine connoisseur. Unfortunately, we're not doing wine because you get a fight coming up. But what's your favorite wine for pairing cigars?
Oh, man.
If you had one, or you could just maybe go into your favorite blend of wine, varietal.
Yeah, so I'm gonna if I'm doing like a robust cigar, and which I absolutely love, the wines are gonna be lighter or sweeter.
Okay.
I do like semi-sweet or like non-sweet Rieslings.
Okay.
Right, it was a white wine or like a good cab. But sometimes I enjoy like the sweet leaves, like where it's like it's not, the cigar isn't a sweet, but the paper is.
Okay.
Right, and so with that, then you can go like profound, like robust, or like drier reds, and stuff like that. But I don't think there's a bad combination. I mean, honestly, you can just pull out of the hat, and I think both wine and cigar is going to go well together.
I actually think it's a great fit. I mean, I love wine, of course, but so I'm biased, but I think it's a great combo. But Aljamain Sterling makes an amazing rum that is a fantastic, just over some ice, just sipping on that. But anything you have good. A lot of people drink a lot of whiskey and bourbon and things with cigars, and I'm not as big on that. I'm not a big brown liquor person, generally speaking. But I mean, some good tequila. Like, there's so many things that mix well with cigars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to like spend a good, significant quality time with people, and when you buzz out the hard alcohol, like the Manhattans and the old fashions, I'm like, we're cutting this time short because I'm gonna have to find a pillow real soon. But with wine, you can keep it casual for a long period of time, and that's honestly why I love it. And everyone always asks me like, have you gotten like whiskey yet? And it's like we're working on it. We're working on it, but as of now, it's just wine. Yeah,
it's also one of those things when you start learning things, it's like the budget keeps expanding and expanding, and you go down wine or the whiskeys, and some of this money that I've seen spent on whiskeys, and my friends that have all this stuff, like thousands of dollars of whiskey. It's like I don't even want to try it, because I don't even want to like it, I don't want to have to commit so much budget.
It's an expensive hobby, and I mean that's honestly why I get fearful sometimes. Like I would love to get into that, but I don't think my bank account wants me to get into that.
It's a ROI type thing. So kind of wrapping up here, so we don't take 6 hours today. Appreciate your time here, and just some fun stuff. And again, not your favorite band, but someone in your top 5 band, musician, artist as far as music. What's on the Drew Dober playlist?
I mean, I'm going to get obnoxious in the fact that Drew Dober enjoys confrontation to R&B music.
Okay.
And so, man, I mean, I walk out to Montel Jordan. I love Mac Morrison, but like it's got to be funky. It's got to be soulful. I mean, rhythm and blues, funk, soul.
Return of the Mac.
Yeah, I love that. So, I mean, as of what I'm jogging to or getting like Chris Brown, Usher, like, just fun dance stuff.
Jam, yeah. What about top 5 favorite movies?
Top 5 favorite movies. I feel like my go-to answers are The Matrix and Fight Club.
Oh, you can't go wrong with those.
I mean, it creates conversations.
Yep. Last 5 questions for you. And if you don't mind, I'm going to say a word and you just say what you think about it.
Okay.
Accountability.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Expectation. Like, you got to do it.
Yeah. Victim mentality.
Dismissed.
Yeah. No room for it.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
You're not a victim ever.
Meditation.
Mandatory.
Okay. Integrity.
Permanent. Yeah. I think special people are the ones that show integrity.
Yeah. And last one of those, and it's not a word, it's What would be the number one in your mind? One of the top common misconceptions about a UFC fighter.
I think it's the arrogance. We are professional athletes, but we get beat up for a living. So, I mean, we live the life of talk shit, get hit. So it's really hard to get arrogant.
Yeah.
So yeah, most MMA fighters will have a cigar with you.
That's awesome. And wrapping up on that thought is one of my biggest surprises as far as getting around all the athletes. Everybody is so nice. I mean, there's literally a couple people that I've met that kind of in character, you can tell that's not really them. They're in character. And again, obviously when you get to know someone, the guard comes down and stuff. But generally speaking, like you, like Vanessa Demopoulos, Evan Elder, O'Day, like O'Day is one of the nicest people you could ever meet. And but that's Aljamain Sterling. That's everybody I met has just been fantastic. So that's my theory, is that when you've spent your whole life getting your ass kicked on the way up, like you just become more humble as a human. Whereas I think a lot of other pro athletes, they're not getting punched in the face, you know?
Yeah, I also like you always think that, like MMA is the Wild West. I mean, where it came from. I mean, we all saw like Tank Abbott and those rough times. Like, but like individually, like deciding you want to be a cage fighter and how do I become a cage fighter or why you want to be a cage fighter.
Right.
It's very raw and it's very you. Where like let's just say like basketball. I mean, these freshmen in high school get noticed by a college and they're being taken care of until, you know, they're no longer playing basketball anymore. Right. So like, yeah, if you're being taken care of for that long time, like you're going to develop that attitude. Where MMA fighters, no one's taking care of us. Like, I mean, we fight for what we eat and we don't eat if we don't fight. Like, and so it makes it easier to be humble.
See that. Yeah, I could totally see that. And my last idea for the UFC, let's just pretend this could get sanctioned. Amateur grudge match to start every UFC event. So 2 random dudes that are mad at each other, they want to fight, and they put up $1,000 a piece that goes to the charity of the winner's choice. And before every UFC fight, 2 random dudes get picked to go in there and scrap.
I'm all for that. One, that sounds like Nebraska Friday Night Fights. That's where I came from. You just show up and you fight. But to do it in the UFC, one, it definitely showcases the talent pool, because like once you go from that fight to then actual professional fighters, like these people. But I think it'd be fun just like to see that hunger. You know?
One round,
dude. I just send out the advertisement and just have a group of dudes show up at like a specific time and just pick out of those guys, and like that's the fight to start us off. Like I'm all for it. Sign me up.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll even commentate or ref.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time, Drew. It was a real pleasure hanging out with you for a little bit and get to know you a little bit better and pick your brain a little bit. And looking forward to great cigars and doing business in the future.
Oh, man, it's fantastic. I appreciate it. And,
thank you so much.
Man, I love the time. So anytime you want to do it again, hopefully with wine and cigars next time.
Yeah, definitely after post-fight so we can celebrate with some good Cabernet. We'll get some like Opus One or get some Farniente.
Probably
we'll get some real
be
good
more
stuff.
Colorful in that podcast, but
hopefully not. But you never know. That's your style of fight.
If you see me fight, it's gonna get colorful.
And so wrapping things up, Drew, where can people follow you and follow you on social media?
Oh, it's quite easy. Just Drew Dober, and that's the tag everywhere. No nickname, just Drew Dober. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. And man, I love when people send me messages. Like I said, I love talking, especially the shop. So if you want to get a hold of me, send me a message. I love talking to people. And look out for the Dober with Triumph Cigars. It's going to be incredible.
We'll definitely do it again. And thank you for joining us. And thank you for joining us for another 5 Things podcast. We'll see you next time.